cold drinks, fresh snacks. Get the best prices right here. Come and get it.
There is a place in Nigeria that many young people dream about every day. A place where night feels almost like day, and day feels even busier than night. The only thing that truly shows the difference is the bright sun in the morning and the shining streetlights at night. In this place, shops do not close early. Big and small businesses are always open. Cars are always moving. People are always walking, talking, selling, buying, rushing, and hoping for something better. This place is full of noise, full of life, and full of dreams. This place is called Port Harcourt. To many people living in villages and small towns, Port Harcourt is not just a city. It is a land of hope. A land where dreams can come true. A land where a poor boy can become rich. A land where a nobody can become somebody. It is a place where many young people believe their lives can change forever. One of those young people was a boy named Charles. Charles was in his early 20s. He lived in a small rural village in Nigeria. Life in the village was slow and simple. People woke up early to go to the farm. They came back tired. There was little money. There were few opportunities. Most young people only waited for one thing, a chance to leave. Charles was tired of this life. Every day, he sat outside his small house and looked at the dusty road. He imagined himself in a big city. He imagined wearing nice clothes. He imagined driving a fine car. He imagined sending money home to his family. He imagined being respected. He imagined living a better life. In his mind, Port Harcourt was everything he wanted. One night, something happened that changed Charles's thinking forever. That night, Charles had a very bad dream. In the dream, he saw himself growing old in the village. He was poor. He was weak. He was begging for food. People were laughing at him. When he woke up, his heart was beating fast. He was sweating. He was scared to go back to sleep. So, he picked up his phone. He opened his social media. He started scrolling. He was not really looking for anything. He just wanted to distract his mind from the bad dream. Then suddenly, he saw a post. It was from a former classmate from school. The picture showed the young man standing in front of a Mercedes-Benz. The car was shining. It looked new. It looked expensive. The young man was smiling. He was wearing fine clothes. Under the picture, the caption read, "Congratulations to me." Charles froze. He looked at the picture again. And again. He could not believe his eyes. "This is the same boy I went to school with," he whispered. His fear disappeared. His nightmare was forgotten. Now his heart was full of thoughts. His mind was full of questions. How did he get this rich? What am I doing with my life? Why am I still in this village? Am I wasting my time here? That one picture changed something inside him. That night, Charles could not sleep. He kept thinking. He kept imagining himself in a big city. He kept seeing that Mercedes-Benz in his mind. Then he remembered someone. Kenneth. Kenneth was his close friend from school. After they finished secondary school and wrote their WAEC, Kenneth did not stay in the village. He moved to Port Harcourt to stay with his uncle. His uncle was selling car parts in the city. Kenneth worked for his uncle. He was not lazy. He learned everything about the business. After some time, as Igbo tradition demands, his uncle settled him. That means he gave him money and helped him open his own shop. Kenneth started his own car parts business. Slowly, the business grew. He was doing well. Charles knew this. So that night, Charles sent Kenneth a message. They talked. They laughed. Charles told Kenneth how tired he was of village life. He told him about the picture he saw. He told him he wanted a change. Kenneth listened. After some time, Kenneth agreed to help him. "Come to Port Harcourt," Kenneth said. "Stay with me. I will not use you as a servant. You are my friend. I will help you learn something." Charles felt hope again. A few days later, Charles packed his small bag. He said goodbye to his family. With fear and excitement in his heart, he entered a bus heading to Port Harcourt. When he arrived at the park, Kenneth was already there waiting for him. They hugged. Charles felt like a new chapter of his life had started. They entered Kenneth's car and drove home. As Charles looked through the window, he saw big buildings, busy roads, and people rushing everywhere. The city looked alive. It looked exactly how he imagined it. The next day, Kenneth took him to his shop. He introduced him to his workers. He showed him how the business worked. He showed him how to talk to customers. He showed him how to buy and sell car parts. Every day, Charles followed Kenneth. He learned. He watched. He listened. He tried to understand how money was made in the city. For the first time in his life, he felt like he was getting closer to success. Then one day, something unexpected happened. It was a Monday morning. The shop was busy. Customers were coming in and out. While Charles was standing at the front of the shop, he suddenly saw a face he knew. It was an old friend. The man was well dressed. He looked rich. He looked confident. He came to buy car parts. Charles was shocked. This is not the same person I knew before, he thought. Kenneth noticed Charles staring and asked him about the man. Charles explained that they went to school together a long time ago. The man also recognized Charles. They talked. They exchanged phone numbers. After buying what he came for, the man left. Charles could not stop thinking about him. That same day, Charles told Kenneth everything about how they knew each other. Kenneth listened, but he did not think much of it. But Charles was already thinking deeper. This man looked successful. This man looked rich. This man looked like someone who had found the secret to making money in the city. So Charles called him. They planned to meet. On Wednesday afternoon, Charles told Kenneth he was going out to meet his old friend. Kenneth wished him well. When Charles arrived at the meeting place, the man was already there waiting for him. They greeted each other warmly. They talked about the past. They laughed. Then Charles asked the question that was burning in his heart. What do you do now? How did you become so successful? The man smiled. I will tell you everything, he said. And I will even help you. In 2 weeks, you will start making serious money. Millions. Charles could hardly believe what he was hearing. His heart began to beat fast. His eyes were full of excitement. His mind was full of dreams. But what was this business? What was the secret? That answer was still waiting. Charles sat quietly in front of his old friend. The place where they met was a small but neat restaurant close to the main road. Cars were passing. People were moving in and out. But Charles could only focus on the man sitting in front of him. This man was not the same boy he knew years ago. His clothes were clean and expensive. His phone was new. His shoes were shining. Everything about him showed that he was doing well. Charles felt small. He cleared his throat and leaned forward. So, you said you will help me make money, Charles said slowly. What kind of work is it? The man smiled again. He looked around as if he wanted to be sure nobody was listening. Then he spoke in a low voice. It is business, he said. Big business. Fast money. Charles nodded, even though he did not really understand yet. The man continued, in this city, if you want to make real money, you must be ready to think differently. You cannot be doing small business forever. You must enter something that gives you big returns. Charles listened carefully. His heart was beating fast. But what exactly do you do? Charles asked. The man laughed lightly. My brother, it is not something I can say here in public. But let me tell you this, it changed my life. I was once like you. No money. No connections. No future. But now you can see me. He pointed to himself. I drive fine cars. I live well. I enjoy life. Charles swallowed. This was exactly what he wanted. So how can I join? Charles asked. The man leaned back in his chair and crossed his legs. First, you must be ready. This is not for people that are afraid. This is not for weak minds. If you join me, you must listen to everything I say. Charles nodded quickly. I am ready, he said. The man looked at him for some seconds, studying his face. Okay, he finally said. Let me give you small explanation. But remember, this is just the beginning. Charles sat up straight. There is something we do, the man said. It is not farming. It is not office work. It is not selling in the market. It is something that brings money quickly. People that are doing it are living big. Charles was silent. But, the man continued, there is a price. Nothing good comes free. What price? Charles asked. You must be brave. You must be loyal. And you must bring some money first. Charles frowned. Money? How much? Not much, the man said. Just enough to show that you are serious. Charles thought about Kenneth. He thought about how Kenneth had worked hard to build his shop. He thought about how Kenneth welcomed him like a brother. But then he remembered the Mercedes-Benz. He remembered the picture. He remembered the village. He remembered his nightmare. I will get it, Charles said. The man smiled. Good. I will call you soon. They stood up. They shook hands. Charles left the restaurant with his head full of thoughts. As he walked back to Kenneth's shop, his mind was not in the present. He was already dreaming about money, cars, and a better life. When he arrived, Kenneth noticed something was different. You look happy, Kenneth said. I am fine, Charles replied quickly. He did not want to say anything yet. That night, Charles could not sleep. He kept thinking about the man's words. 2 weeks, millions. He imagined himself sending money home. He imagined buying new clothes. He imagined being respected. But there was also a small voice inside him that felt uneasy. What if this is dangerous? The voice asked. Charles pushed the thought away. Nothing good comes easy, he said to himself. The next day, the man called. Are you ready? He asked. Yes, Charles replied. Then meet me tomorrow evening. I will introduce you to some people. Charles felt nervous, but also excited. The next day came. Charles told Kenneth he was going out. Kenneth did not suspect anything. He trusted Charles. Charles met the man at a quiet place. From there, they entered a car and drove to a different part of the city. The roads became quieter. The buildings looked older. They stopped in front of a house. Inside, there were other young men. Some were laughing. Some were silent. All of them looked serious. This is where it begins, the man said. Charles felt a chill run through his body. One of the men gave him a chair. Sit down, he said. Charles Saturday. The man who brought him spoke again. These are my brothers, he said. They are all in the same business. They all make money. Charles looked around. Some of the men were wearing gold chains. Some had expensive phones. Some had tattoos. They did not look like normal business people. One of them stood up. If you are here, it means you want to change your life, he said. But you must be sure. Once you enter, you cannot just leave. Charles felt his heart beat faster. What exactly do you do? He finally asked. The room became quiet. The men looked at each other. The man who brought Charles smiled slowly. You will soon know, he said. For now, you just need to trust us. Charles was not sure what to think. Part of him was scared. Part of him was excited. Part of him wanted to run. But part of him wanted to stay and become rich. And so, he stayed. What exactly was this business? Why were they acting so secret? And what was Charles about to enter? The answers were getting closer. Charles sat quietly on the plastic chair inside the strange house. The room was not big, but it was filled with tension. The windows were closed. The curtains were drawn. Only one small bulb was lighting the room. The faces of the men around him looked serious. Some of them looked tired. Some looked proud. Some looked dangerous. Charles felt something heavy in his chest. The man who brought him there, his old friend, stood in front of everyone. My brothers, he said, this is Charles. He wants to join us. One of the men nodded. Does he know what we do? The man asked. Not yet, the old friend replied. The man turned to Charles. Before we tell you anything, he said, you must answer one question. Are you ready to do anything to be rich? Charles opened his mouth to speak, but his voice did not come out at first. His throat was dry. His heart was beating very fast. I want to succeed, he finally said. I don't want to be poor. The men laughed quietly. That is how everybody talks, one of them said. The old friend stepped closer to Charles. Listen to me, he said softly. This business is not legal. It is not clean. But it brings money. Big money. We do online deals. We talk to people abroad. We make them send money. Sometimes we lie. Sometimes we pretend. That is how it works. Charles felt cold. You mean, scamming? He asked. The room became quiet again. Yes, the old friend replied. Some people call it fraud. Some call it hustle. But look around you. We are all living well. One of the men brought out his phone and showed Charles pictures of big houses, expensive cars, and bundles of money. Do you see this? The man said. This is our life. Charles stared at the pictures. His heart was confused. He remembered his mother in the village, struggling. He remembered the dusty road. He remembered the empty pocket. He remembered the Mercedes-Benz. But he also remembered Kenneth. He remembered how Kenneth worked hard. He remembered how Kenneth welcomed him like a brother. What if I get into trouble? Charles asked. The old friend smiled. If you are smart, nothing will happen. But if you are stupid, then you will pay. Charles was quiet. You must also bring some money to join, the old friend continued. We use it to set you up. Laptop, phone, internet. Everything. How much? Charles asked. The amount he mentioned was more than anything Charles had. I don't have that kind of money, Charles said. The old friend looked at him. Then borrow. Or find it. That is your first test. Charles left the house with a heavy heart. The night air felt cold. The city noise felt far away. As he walked back to Kenneth's place, his mind was full of confusion. This is not what I came to Port Harcourt for, he thought. But this is the fastest way to be rich. When he reached home, Kenneth was sitting outside. You look worried, Kenneth said. Is everything okay? Charles wanted to lie, but he could not. He told Kenneth everything. Kenneth listened quietly. When Charles finished, Kenneth was silent for a long time. Charles, Kenneth finally said, that thing they are offering you will destroy your life. But look at how they are living, Charles replied. They are rich. Many of them will not end well, Kenneth said. Some will go to prison. Some will die. Some will lose their minds. I have seen it before. But this business is slow, Charles said. Your shop grows slowly. Kenneth sighed. Yes, it is slow. But it is clean. I sleep well at night. I am not afraid of police. I am not afraid of anybody. Charles did not reply. That night, he could not sleep. The next morning, the old friend called him. Have you gotten the money? He asked. Charles was quiet. I am thinking, Charles said. Don't think too much, the man replied. Opportunity does not wait. Charles looked around Kenneth's shop. He saw the workers. He saw the customers. He saw honest money being made. I will not come, Charles finally said. I don't want that life. There was silence on the other end. You are a fool, the old friend said and hung up. Days passed. Charles stayed with Kenneth. He continued learning the business. It was hard. It was slow. But it was real. One evening, news spread in the city. Some young men had been arrested for online fraud. Their faces were on the news. Charles saw one face. It was his old friend. His heart shook. If he had gone, he would have been there too. He went to Kenneth and hugged him. Thank you, Charles said. You saved my life. Kenneth smiled. Money is good, he said. But peace is better. Charles now understood. He was still not rich. But he was free. And he had a future. Moral lessons. 1. Fast money can destroy your life. Not every opportunity that promises quick riches is good. 2. Bad friends can lead you into danger. Not everyone who looks successful got there the right way. 3. Honest work may be slow, but it brings peace. Clean money allows you to sleep without fear. 4. Greed can blind you. When you only think about money, you can forget what is right. 5. Good advice can save your life. Kenneth's words helped Charles avoid a terrible future.